The Great Pyramid of Giza contains a truly mind-bending amount of secrets and mystery hidden within its construction. The fine details of this masterpiece tell a vivid story for the inquisitive mind. It is layered with geodetic knowledge and astronomical comprehension to the highest degree. If it were only one or two coincidences, we could brush it off as a lucky roll of the dice. But the Great Pyramid stands here today as if it was the most complex puzzle on the planet, hiding the secrets of the universe. Countless different pieces of astronomical knowledge and complex mathematics can be derived and are encoded within the pyramid, relating to the fundamental laws of our Earth and the solar system as we travel through the galaxy. There is no denying the utter complexity at hand and high levels of intelligence and overall understanding of reality that the Great Pyramid Builders left in stone for future humans to discover. The immortal textbook left in stone. The Great Pyramid of Giza is one of the most intricate and important structures ever built on this earth, containing over 2.5 million individual blocks with the collective weight of an estimated 6.5 million tons. There is truly nothing else to compare it to on this planet. This is the most magnificent wonder of the world that has been discovered. Today, on Infinite History, we take this deep dive into complex mathematics and cosmic knowledge derived and inscribed to the pyramid's construction. You will also come to realize this was no randomly placed stone complex, and without a doubt was not built to be a tomb for a pharaoh. Each block was placed with intricate precision and the utmost intention. No sarcophagi or mummies have ever been found inside any of the pyramids. It is clear the dynastic Egyptians inherited these structures from a more advanced previous builder culture that was likely pre-diluvian, meaning pre-flood. The two most recent massive cataclysmic events are known as the Burckle Crater event some 4,400 years ago and the Younger Dryas impacts some 12 to 13,000 years in our past, which ended the last ice age. So this points to the true builders of the pyramid being somewhere into the last precessional cycle, between 13 and 36,000 years ago, when the planet was in the age of Leo, which also may be an explanation for the Sphinx and why some believe it was a lion. As we will discuss in the preceding moments of this video, the pyramid builders were masters of cosmic comprehension and understood the workings of what was in the sky precisely. Where the Earth was in its precessional cycle, this is something that the pyramid builders and many builder cultures across the world tracked by using the vernal equinox and where the sun was placed. From what I'm about to show you, it is clear, without any doubt, the ancient pyramid builders had a great understanding and knowledge of our solar system, planet, and galaxy, the inner workings of our orbit, the speed of light, and much more. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a true textbook in stone left for us to reverse engineer, and one that we could only begin to understand after the modern industrial age, when our current civilization began to work with large-scale machinery, massive buildings, and highly complex construction methods. Bear in mind, the technology to be able to comprehend the precision at hand within the construction has only been available for the past 50 or 100 years. With the advent of modern computers, satellite surveying techniques, and LiDAR, all previous cultures were unable to truly decode the mystery hidden within the Great Pyramid of Giza. To begin, we will take a look at and understand the base layer of what the pyramid builders left for us to decode. They clearly had an undeniable comprehension of geodesy. What is the meaning of geodesy, you ask? It is the science of accurately measuring and understanding three fundamental properties of the Earth: its geometric shape, its orientation in space, and gravitational field, and how these three properties change over time. This means how the other integral properties of the Earth change throughout our 26,000-year precessional orbit around the solar system, also known as the precession of the equinoxes, which is determined by the position of the sun on the first day of spring. Some of you may know we are currently orbiting through the age of Aquarius, which simply put means this is the zodiac sign where the sun is located during the vernal equinox. Now that we have an understanding of geodesy, being the science of accurately measuring and understanding three fundamental properties of Earth, its geometric shape, orientation in space, and gravitational field, let's look at when our current advanced society began to understand this geodetic knowledge, and the mountain of evidence for it in ancient times. This will be of great importance in relation to the true complexity built within the Great Pyramid of Egypt. In our current day and age, we began to understand this fundamental knowledge in the early 19th century, after extensive land surveying and triangulation over large areas of the Earth's surface. After the 1970s, with the advent of orbital satellites, we were able to create the most accurate picture of the Earth's size and mass. This is important because the total mass of Earth determines its gravitational constant that we experience here, which is integral to any part of space travel and calculating the escape velocity necessary to leave the atmosphere. The total mass of a celestial object is the reason why the moon only has 17% of Earth's gravity, due to a much smaller mass, or why Jupiter has 240% more gravity than the Earth due to its size. Our orbit and rotational speed creates what is known as the equatorial bulge. The Earth is not a perfect sphere, but the equatorial diameter is approximately 27 miles or 43 kilometers larger than the polar diameter, and somehow the ancient builders knew this and displayed it within the pyramid structure. This is extremely important knowledge to determine our rotational orbit around the sun, and shows a high level of advanced comprehension and knowledge, because this is extremely important to the stability of our planet. Now, how does this relate to the Great Pyramid of Giza, and how did these ancient people that mainstream archaeology deems primitive know this? How exactly is the Great Pyramid an extremely precise model of the Earth? What if I told you some 10 to 30,000 years ago this knowledge was already understood by the Great Pyramid builders of ancient Egypt and the ancient builder culture? One of the most truly mind-bending pieces of information is that the ancient master builders understood this and displayed it within their creations, and not just written on little cuneiform tablets or in a small calendar, but within the biggest, most infinite lasting structures on this earth, hidden within the geometry of the precise placement of 2.5 million stone blocks. The Great Pyramid of Giza being an amazing testament of this comprehension, and one that we could only truly understand until the past 100 years as our own knowledge advanced. Remember that in the 1600s, people used to believe the Earth was the center of our solar system, and imagine the massive backlash that Galileo Galilei received from going against mainstream consensus, saying this was not the case, proving Nicholas Copernicus and his theories were to be true from his observation from the different phases of Venus. Now, let's prove the ancient Egyptian builders already understood this to such great lengths they put it in stone to be left on the earth for millennia. The true height and perimeter of the pyramid can be determined with a high degree of accuracy by several of the casing stones that were left behind at the base of the pyramid. In 1925, J.H. Cole completed what is considered the definitive survey of the Great Pyramid, and what we will be referencing these numbers to build off of. The remaining casing stones at the pyramid's base allow us to calculate the angle of the pyramid to be 51 degrees and 51 minutes, very precisely. The pyramid sits on a base structure known as the socle. This is very important, which was equal to 1 cubit or 55 centimeters, placed directly on the bedrock as you can see here. This creates two ways which you can measure the height and perimeter of the pyramid, either with or without the socle, as you can see by these images. So, if there is two ways to measure the true height and perimeter of the pyramid, either with or without the socle, then which is correct? Well, it turns out both are correct and very important in relation to the Earth and its movement through space. Let's see just how that is. As shown here, 755.85 feet at the base and 481 feet high without the socle. As you can see here, the pyramid with the socle, we can measure the base to be 760.9 feet and 482.7575 feet high because of its 55 centimeter or 21.65 inches in height. Now, that would allow us to get the total perimeter to be these numbers as shown here. And by no stroke of simple coincidence, the perimeter of the pyramid perfectly matches with 1/4 of a square minute of longitude and latitude on the equator, as you can see by these graphics shown. Now, what does this mean exactly? This shows that ancient pyramid builders knew deeply the size and shape of the Earth, the speed at which we move through space, and the fact that the Earth is not perfectly round, containing the equatorial bulge, which is key to our orbital stability. Remember, the polar radius is about 12 miles smaller than the equatorial radius. So therefore, every second the distance of Earth travels throughout its orbit is precisely the same distance as these two different perimeters you can calculate on the Great Pyramid's perimeter with or without the socle. They are both correct. Now bear in mind, the Great Pyramid is a scale model of the Earth. If you were to multiply its height of 482.7575 feet, or approximately 147 meters, by 43,200, which is the number of seconds in 12 hours or half of a day, you will get the polar radius of the Earth so precise it is within the range of error of today's most accurate satellite surveys, which is roughly 3,949 miles or 6,378 kilometers. This proves the pyramid is a scale model of the northern hemisphere. Hence, if you are standing on the equator, every 2 seconds the Earth will turn 1/43,200th of its total orbit, which is precisely the distance around the pyramid. How could the ancient pyramid builders have understood this geodetic knowledge and embedded it within the pyramid's construction? What are the implications and inferences we can make from that knowledge? They clearly had an understanding far greater than mainstream archaeology has given them credit for. And this is not the only culture that would imprint this geodetic knowledge into their greatest structures. You can find this evidence imprinted within the Parthenon of ancient Greece, which relates to its own latitude on Earth. Even if the pyramid was built 4,300 years ago, who had the capability to measure the Earth with such precision at these times? This would truly rewrite our history of sophisticated man that had advanced scientific knowledge. There is no way this is a coincidence. Bear in mind, this is just one undeniable fact that can be derived from the Great Pyramid. We have not even dived into the relations with sacred geometry that it contains, but that will be for another video in the future. I want to give a big shout out to Randal Carlson for laying the groundwork of this knowledge and breaking down the sacred geometric properties over these past decades. Please check out his channel and give him a subscription. Don't forget to throw us a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments if you would like part 2 for a more in-depth dive into this subject, or a deeper dive into the sacred geometrical properties contained within the pyramids and many ancient structures throughout the earth. Thanks for tuning in to Infinite History, and remember, nothing is set in stone